Hello Gorillaz, welcome to this 4-part video training series about product inspections in China. In video number 2, we're going to be talking about when you should get your product inspections done and how that may impact your production timeline. Our goal is to help you avoid the biggest problems that new sellers have when starting their Amazon business. And we want to get you making money as quickly as possible. So let's get this video training started right now. I'm Rob Fortney from the Gorillaz Tribe, and I'm super excited to help you navigate through the Amazon seller's jungle. If you want your Amazon business to take off like a rocket ship, then you found the right channel. If this is your first time visiting us, a great big welcome from the Gorillaz Tribe. If you're returning, it's great to see your smiling face again. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, subscribe right now. There's also a little bell right there, and if you click that little bell, we're going to tell you each and every time we release new training videos. If you're interested in more free training, go ahead and head over to our website at gorillazonline.com. That's Gorillaz with a Z, online.com. You can also download our brand new free course on how to find a winning product on Amazon. It's time to get this training started right now, so let's head on over to the virtual classroom where our head trainer, Paul Adams, is going to teach you everything you need to know.
Right, when to get products inspected. Okay, this is the next section we're going to be looking at. So when to get your products inspected. So like we said earlier, catch problems early. So we've got the pre-production inspection. And this is basically looking at your line setup, and this is really geared for larger organizations that are a dedicated production line set up in the factory. During production inspection, this is basically where the inspectors go in and have a look at production as it's being produced. The most popular is the final random inspection. And this is where we've got 100% of the products finished with 80% packed. Okay, and then we've got the container loading inspection. Again, that's geared more for the larger organization where we're ordering container loads at a time. So let's take the final random inspection, okay, because that's the most popular of the systems as it is. So let's have a look at how is quality controlled before shipment. So most consumer goods exported from low cost, i.e. Asia, China, to Europe or USA are inspected randomly. For example, if you've got an order of 8,000 items, there would only be 200 of those 8,000 items that are selected at a random, purely randomly selected, and they would only be the ones that are inspected. So how can an inspector draw a valid conclusion after only checking 200 items, I ask? Well, let's have a look. There's a set of process we need to go through here, right? And it all starts with communication, right? The purchaser describes the purchaser is us, by the way, so it's me or you, okay? So the purchaser describes his product in a specification with dimensions, labeling, packaging, everything. Now, let's take the infamous garlic press. On a specification, yeah, you wouldn't have too much to specify there, but what I would be specifying is it must be stainless steel, okay? And it must weigh X amount of grams or pounds. Okay, the dimensions, that's easy enough. We can put the dimensions on there. Now, a lot of this you're going to get from the supplier because it's a standard product and you've chosen that product, you've got your sample in and you've tested various different ones and you know the one that you want to get. So basically get that information down. Labeling, well, you need to supply that label. Okay, so make sure that information on the label is correct. Put it in your specification. Packaging, what type of packaging are you going to put it in? You're just going to put it in a poly bag, an opt-in bag, or are you going to get some dedicated packaging printed with your logo on it? All of this information needs to be put down as part of the requirements or the communication requirements. The more precise the information, the better it is. Okay, because you can take advantage of that during the inspection because the inspection company or the inspector can reference your specification and all of the details against what they're checking. If it's not there, then it's going to be a failure. Okay, so you can see if it's not being inspected and it gets shipped out, you've got yourselves problems. Okay. The second part, an inspect goes into the factory. When? After all of the production is finished. We talked about this earlier. Right, 100% of the products must be finished. Okay, and 80% of those are going to be packed. So there's probably about 2 days before your goods are scheduled to leave the factory. Quantify verification. Okay, let me explain what that is. That's the third part. The containers are counted to check if the whole quantity is present. Okay, then the inspector randomly selects those cartons, opens them, and checks their content. Basically, we're just verifying the quantity. Random selection of samples. Now, again, this is all statistically driven. Like I said, the 8,000 items, only 200 will be selected. So the less quantity you have, the less random samples they'll be have. But basically, they'll go in and they will not be guided by the supplier. In other words, the supplier can't say, here's a good package, here's a good box, select this one. No. Bye. So basically what they'll do is they'll go in and select pure random samples from the 100% that have been made and 80% have been packed. Fifth part, they will be looking at cosmetic and workmanship. Okay, now these samples are they're not just looking at the dimensions, but they will look at these thoroughly for visual defects. Because I don't know about you, but me personally, if I get a product and it's scratched, I don't like it. If it's a brand new product and it's scratched, it might function perfectly okay. But if it's scratched and dinked up a little bit, I'll be a little bit upset and I'd potentially want a refund and send the product back because I'm expecting something perfect. Okay, so the inspection company or inspector will check thoroughly for visual defects. And that could be on the product, it could be on the packaging, it could be on the label, it could be on anything. Okay, so depending on how many defects they find, again, statistically driven, will determine whether the whole batch is failed or it's passed. Okay, so if we're only inspecting a small number, because we've only ordered several hundred, say 500 units, we only need something like 2 failures and the whole batch can be failed. All right, so this is how it works. Okay, conformity verification is step 6 in the process here. But the inspector also checks if the goods presented by the factory correspond to the purchase's requirements. In other words, is it a stainless steel, heavy metal garlic press? Or have they made a blue garlic press as lightweight? Yeah, so they're basically checking everything. This is where they're going to be checking the information, even when it comes down to the barcode. Okay, my UPS, UPC, they will be checking that. They will be scanning it, making sure it's the correct number. They will be looking at every single minute detail that I asked them to do. In other words, on the specification sheet. Okay, so that will be covered as well. Testing in the factory. One would assume that there's going to be some testing. There has to be some testing of the product, regardless of what that product is. Even if it's a face sponge or something, it needs to make sure that it's not going to fall apart. Okay, so the inspector performs some sort of test that are specific to the product, normally with the factory's equipment, because the factory is the expert. They're going to be producing the products, so therefore they would have some equipment there to test that particular product. Okay. Tests vary according to the nature of the product. Obviously, if you've got an electrical product, they will have some specific dedicated electronic checking products. So they do various different sort of probing and a high pot test. Make sure you're not going to get electrical shock, this type of thing. That is standard. That will be covered. No need to do that. That is all part of the standard thing. So checking that if there's current leakage, for example, that's what I just mentioned. If you're going to touch your laptop, you don't want to get an electrical shock, or when you're plugging in your electric kettle, that's the last thing you want. So they're checking all of this anyway. Furniture, make sure that it doesn't fall over. Make sure the tip point is correct. Make sure you're not going to get damaged goods or dangerous goods sent over. Okay. Also, the checking on the cartons, make sure that the cartons, in other words, the packaging box is sent in itself. So if you've got 10 units in a box, it's their outside box they're checking. And they'll do a drop test on that. This is a part of the standard thing. So they'll drop everything in that carton from 1 meter high, okay, which is, I don't know, 3 feet high. Okay, they'll just drop the whole thing on the corner and see how everything performs. Obviously, if it's glass components, they may pass on that. And then report preparation. Okay, you always get a report once you get an inspection company to go in. You may not get a report on the iPhone test, obviously, but that's down to you and the supplier to actually determine the way forward there. But with respect to everything else, you will get a full detailed report. So what happens here, the inspector issues a report that describes the situation and illustrates with tons and tons of photographs, which is great. Okay, because sometimes it's quite difficult for the Chinese to articulate correctly in English what the situation is. Whereas they could take a quick photograph and put a little red sticker with an arrow on it, saying, look, here, there's a scratch, there's a dink, there's something wrong. Is this right? I'm not sure about this. Okay, so that documents everything that they find, and then it's down to you to decide whether that is good or bad. The inspector does not have any authority to stop shipment, to pass any product through, to say, yes, it's okay, you can ship it out. They do not have the authority to do it. That is down to you and I as the buyer. We have the final say with respect to what goes on with that, with our products. Okay, so if we get our report through and the report says everything's fine, then we can actually say to the supplier, all right, we've had the inspection, the results are good, I'm going to pay the rest of the money and release the goods for shipment. If it comes back with problems, then you can start to negotiate, okay? But they, as an inspection company, do not have any authority to stop or go any production or shipment. You're going to get these slides, okay? So there's a quick infographic on what I've just been through by, if you just click that link down the bottom.
Thank you for watching this Gorillaz Tribe training video. We know that this is going to help you avoid the biggest problems new sellers face. Now, if you want to learn more about this topic, then go ahead and watch the entire playlist so you can learn everything there is to know and avoid these big problems. The training video you just watched is taken from the Gorillaz Tribe membership area, where we host weekly live virtual classrooms where you can ask questions and get answers to the problems you may be having along your path to becoming a successful Amazon seller. Gorillaz Tribe members also have access to our step-by-step training videos that will help guide you from start to finish, and even give you the information you need to run your Amazon business after you've launched your product. Do you want to solve your #1 problem? Information overload? We all know that you're 10 times more likely to succeed if you start your business in a group, so you can get the support you need to be successful. You don't have to do this alone. You can join the Gorillaz Tribe for just $48 a month. You can cancel at any time, so you can get the help along the way that you need to be a successful Amazon seller. If you'd like to learn more about joining the Gorillaz Tribe, or you'd like to see our brand new webinar on the 5 secret strategies to be successful in the Amazon business, go ahead and head over to our website at gorillazonline.com. That's Gorillaz with a Z, online.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe right now, or click that little bell so when we have new information to release, you can get those training videos. I'm Rob Fortney. Thanks for letting me help you navigate the Amazon seller's jungle.